There are two types of people in this world: those who are obsessed with coffee and those who stay away. And for those who do drink it, it's a daily ritual. Here in Tel Aviv, some grab and go, but many sit and enjoy, especially in the middle of a workday, and quite literally all day long. Now I'm exploring this phenomenon for myself. My first stop, one of the most popular spots in Tel Aviv, Nachat Cafe, situated on Dizengoff Square. There, I met with Noah Berger, a coffee sociologist, and we sat down for a chat about Tel Aviv coffee culture over some, well, coffee.
So, I made an order for you, and what you're drinking is pour-over coffee. You can see it's like a little bit more like tea or like wine. It's very aromatic. It has like a lighter body than the, more dense espresso. And what's inside this pour-over is beans from Ethiopia, from a washing station called Warka Wuri.
And the first thing I learned was that Israelis' love for coffee is deeply rooted in diverse traditions, cultures, and history.
Each community that immigrated to Israel brought with it its own coffee traditions. Also, of course, Arab Israelis and Palestinians as well.
Coffee, of all things, holds so much meaning across different sectors of Israeli society. Tel Aviv's coffee culture began before the city did.
Arabic-style cafes that started kind of opening up from the, I think, 16th century, more or less. And it was like these sit-down cafes where you have your coffee over time, during the day or during the evening.
And then the era of the Tel Avivian cafe, as Noah calls it, emerges in the 1930s, as more Europeans emigrated to British Mandate Palestine.
Actually, they drink more alcohol and tea and maybe some coffee, and it's about the cafe. It's about sitting together, writing poetry, writing literature, discussing it as well. So like these famous poets like Bialik and Leah Goldberg and Natan Alterman, they each have like their tables and they have their group of followers around them, and they spend all day there at the cafe just discussing poetry.
Coffee shops were widely known throughout history as open and democratic spaces. Often, this made them appear as a threat to authorities.
There was a parliament member that gave a speech in the 1960s called the Espresso Generation, and he lamented how all these young Tel Avivians spent all their time just sitting at cafes drinking espressos under like corrupting American influence.
And this goes back to the very first coffee shops. In 1511, Islamic authorities even put coffee up on trial and banned it for many years, as students would spend their days drinking coffee and chatting in coffee shops instead of praying and fulfilling duties. This happened again in 17th century Europe before the French Revolution, as authorities grew fearful of a possible uprising.
But coffee is such a wonderful, stimulating drink for most people that it ends up winning wars ultimately, despite fears.
And today, cafes and coffee shops still serve as symbols of resistance.
During COVID, you saw that very clearly. There were TV crews coming to coffee shops around Tel Aviv, filming them and showing, look at those Tel Avivians, they're not aligning with policy. They're staying open, they're doing whatever they want, and they're spreading like disease.
From the discovery of an Ethiopian bean to the emergence of cafes and beyond, the era of Tel Aviv coffee culture that we know today is rooted in resistance, poetry, and the spread of ideas. The aroma of coffee serves as an anchor, Noah says, but its underlying traditions are what make Tel Avivians who they are. Channa Rifkin for I-24 News in Tel Aviv.